Victoria County Sheriff Justin Marr comments on human smuggling in Victoria.
In today's historic ousting of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Congressman Michael Cloud voted against McCarthy's removal.
And nonprofit organizations in California helping migrants navigate their first moments in the U.S.
We had a few showers around the area. Most of this stuff was in Houston all day long, and then in the afternoon they came down 59 through Edna and Victoria. But tomorrow morning we're going to see more activity, and I'm looking for big rain for the next couple of days. We'll be talking about that in just a moment.
And we have local volleyball highlights and scores coming up, along with the 5 ranked teams in the state, in the area. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10.
This is breaking news from 25 News Now.
Breaking news tonight, police say multiple people have been shot at Morgan State University in Baltimore. There's the scene just a few minutes ago. The Baltimore Police Department said officers on the scene Tuesday for what they called an active shooter situation on the campus of the historically black university. The department asked people to shelter in place and avoid the area. Authorities say at least 4 people were shot. Their conditions were not immediately known. Last week, there were 3 migrant bailouts in 5 days in Victoria County. Victoria County Sheriff Justin Marr told us this is nothing new because the number of bailouts come and go in cycles. As areas get pressure put on them, migrants find new tracks, roads, and travel patterns to navigate their way to San Antonio and Houston. This influx has happened before and is really not a surprise to law enforcement.
Honestly, until there's an administration change at the federal level, and we actually secure our border, we're going to deal with this. You're going to deal with it to a very small extent. You always have, but not to this magnitude. And when the federal government wants to do their job, then things will probably slow down.
The sheriff said if people see something out of the ordinary in their area, then do not hesitate to report something. This could be migrant behavior. A lot of these smugglers run very rural paths away from the main roads.
The Shiner Fire Department, along with several other emergency crews, responded to the scene of an explosion and fire that occurred just east of Shiner on Highway 90A, just outside the town limits. No reports of any injuries. One person reported injured after a multi-vehicle crash in Port Lavaca today. The Port Lavaca Wave reports the crash was at the intersection of State Highway 35 and Tiny Browning Boulevard. Traffic crossing Highway 35 was blocked for a time.
4 people charged with election fraud in B County. They are charged with illegal actions during the 2022 election cycle. KIII reports one of the 4 charged, Carlos Salazar Jr., a former B County commissioner, charged with 8 counts of tampering with government records and false application for a voter ballot. An investigation found that the 4 people lied on applications for voter ballots by stating they lived in what turned out to be an abandoned house in Beeville. The U.S. House of Representatives, in a historic vote today, ousted Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. The House will now need to elect a new Speaker, but there is no clear option as to who would have the support needed to win the gavel. McCarthy's political future hangs in the balance, and it remains to be seen whether he will seek to win back the speakership.
That's right. Prior to the final vote, the House failed to table, or rather block, the effort to oust him by a vote of 208 to 218, with 11 Republicans voting against the motion to table. District 27 Representative Michael Cloud voted against ousting McCarthy. So here is your viewer poll tonight. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, do you support the efforts to remove House Speaker Kevin McCarthy? Yes or no? According to these results tonight, 40% stand at yes and 60% stand at no. Thank you for voting tonight.
And let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. A little stormy in Washington, D.C. this afternoon, and we got some rain today, Mac.
They got the thunder and lightning going up there. Well, here in the coastal bend, we actually see the shower activity that's redeveloped out over Houston. So by tomorrow morning, you're going to see more of this Gulf moisture rolling ashore. It's a little bit, about 150 miles away right now, but the big stuff is actually occurring out in far west Texas, severe weather, because that's where the big frontal system is. Yep, you're going to like this forecast coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right, Mac, thank you. ERCOT looking to increase its power capacity ahead of winter. KVUE reports ERCOT hopes to add 3,000 megawatts of reserves ahead of its peak load season for winter, which runs from December to February. ERCOT's analysis shows if Texas has a winter storm during this year's peak load season, like the winter storm of last December, the risk of entering an energy emergency alert would be almost 20%.
Congressman Henry Cuellar of Texas was carjacked in Washington, D.C. Monday night. A spokesperson said the Democratic congressman was parking his car when 3 people with guns approached him and stole his dinner, his phone, his iPad, and his vehicle. The congressman was not hurt, but police are searching for 3 male suspects. Volunteers in Southern California are helping migrants that have entered the U.S.
They're giving them food, shelter, and making sure they have some guidance on their next steps in America.
Spending hours sitting outside at the San Isidro Community Park is anything but peaceful. Still, spirits are high for many of these migrants who have made their way to America.
I love America.
Over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking to migrants dropped off at transit centers in the South County. Now, nonprofits have created an unofficial welcome center for those with nowhere else to go.
Oftentimes, they don't even know that they're here in San Diego, and so we're letting them know where's the nearest airport, where's the nearest train station, so they can get on their way.
Lindsay Toslowski is the executive director for the social justice law firm IMDEF. She says about 700 migrants are brought here every single day, early in the morning and later in the evening. I was able to speak with some of them using apps to translate.
Have the people here been helpful?
Yes, of course.
This man making his way to New York tonight. Another, Mohammed, telling me he fled from Northwest Africa.
I'm a young activist. I left my country to go to exile in the United States because we live in a country where there's oppression, there is racism. We continue to fight to defend our civic ideas, to defend our communities.
This bus makes multiple trips a day to the San Diego International Airport. All of this, the transportation and food, it's being provided by volunteer efforts.
Nonprofit organizations for the last 3 weeks, along with ordinary community members, have opened our hearts and our wallets and our budgets to meet this need, but it is not sustainable without a government response.
And the border will be on the minds of Texas lawmakers who return to the Capitol next Monday for the 3rd special session with 2 hot issues on the agenda. KXAN reports Governor Greg Abbott intends to ask lawmakers to consider legislation relating to immigration and border security. The governor has the sole authority to set the agenda during special sessions. On the agenda, the governor's priority to establish state-funded education savings accounts to subsidize private school tuition. The special session may last as long as 30 days.
In Arlington Monday, a small plane made an emergency landing on a road. The FAA said 2 people were on board and both were okay. Police closed the road for several hours to get things cleaned up. Both the FAA and the NTSB are investigating exactly what led to this emergency landing.
Block party time for National Night Out Tuesday night. It's one of the busiest nights of the year for the Victoria Police Department. The police, neighbors, first responders, city and county officials get out to interact and mingle with the community under positive circumstances. More than 100 people showed up at Christ's Kitchen. 25 other parties registered across town, with several hundred people recognizing National Night Out.
Well, it's all about building community. That's what it's about, and that's our goal. You know, not just enforcing laws, but building those bonds with the community. And like I said, we need positive interactions with the public.
Lots of food, karaoke, and games with the pop-up park, maybe a little rain too, as well as water balloon tosses. This event held every year on the first Tuesday of October.
The Texas Tribune has this article. The state's unemployment rate has reached 4.1% for 4 months. You can also read this story on crossroadstoday.com.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so when you're on YouTube, you can get Crossroads Today. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. Several people dead after a bus crashed in northern Italy.
Also ahead, neighbors in a South Dallas neighborhood helped a woman who was involved in a deadly home attack. At least 21 people are dead and more than a dozen are injured after a bus crash in Italy Tuesday. The general director says children are among the victims. He adds that the identification of bodies is still underway. The president of the region says the people on the bus were of various nationalities and many of the injured are in very serious condition. Authorities say the bus was full of commuters when it tumbled off an overpass.
People in a South Dallas neighborhood looking for answers after a deadly attack inside a home over the weekend.
The incident happened in the 900 block of Medalist Drive, where one man moved a couple months ago from Mississippi.
And she was like, I've been shot. I've been shot. And I'm like, oh, Lord.
Mario Gordon is praying he never experiences what happened Saturday morning again. He came outside around 11 a.m. because their family dog, Dutch, just would not stop barking.
I checked on them to try to calm them down. I probably got about right here, and there was a young lady over here. And the only thing she kept saying was, help me, help me.
She needed help because, according to Dallas police, the woman escaped from this house in the 900 block of Medalist Drive. Other neighbors told us they heard gunfire, which furthers what police tell us what happened inside the home and what Mario learned about the woman asking for his help.
So I rendered aid and help to her and dialed 911 and just stayed with her until the ambulance came.
Wow, what was going through your mind?
What happened?
Here's what we know happened when Dallas police arrived at the house. Officers located a man tied up inside the home, yelling for help. They also found 30-year-old DeLeon Williams tied up, who had been shot and killed. Paramedics took the woman who Mario helped to the hospital, who police expect to survive her injuries. Still, just like officers, Mario wants to know who and why anyone would do this to his neighbors.
I really don't know what happened, who did what or anything.
Even after this happening around 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, Mario describes their neighborhood as nice and quiet, even at night like it is now. So he's hoping whoever did this to his neighbors is caught. In Dallas, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
The FDA giving the green light to Novavax's updated COVID-19 vaccine. The protein-based shots are for people 12 and older. They're aimed at stopping the spread of EG5, the dominant strain in the U.S. right now. Novavax responsible for very few COVID-19 vaccinations in the U.S., but a CDC advisory panel says it's important to offer people an alternative. The CDC director recommends the Novavax vaccine as an option for protecting against the virus. Salmonella poisoning will ruin anybody's day.
But for babies, doctors warn the bacteria can result in a very serious illness.
Salmonella, a common cause of foodborne illness, doesn't just keep adults home from work for a day or two. The American Academy of Pediatrics says between 1968 and 2015, more than 190,000 infants under the age of 1 had a confirmed salmonella infection. And some of those children were very sick. Most often, babies with salmonella develop similar symptoms to adults: vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration. But for babies, the salmonella bacteria can get into their blood or spinal fluid, making them seriously ill. And the average hospital stay for babies with severe infection was up to 20 days. Salmonella is passed through infected food, water, animals, or people. So make sure to practice good hand hygiene if you're around young children so you don't spread any bacteria to them. Feeling sick? Wash your hands. Touching raw meat or eggs? Wash your hands. A little soap and water can go a long way in keeping babies healthy. With this Medical Minute, I'm Justin Finch, ABC News.
Representatives of SAG-AFTRA and the major Hollywood studios returned to the negotiations Monday for the first time in over 2 months. Both sides want to end the stalemate over issues like pay and the use of artificial intelligence. SAG-AFTRA's priorities include improved payment terms for vulnerable employees like extras, background actors, and day players. The union is also seeking to regulate AI.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's 80 degrees right now. It was rather humid today. I don't know if you were out, but that's what led us to the afternoon showers. We managed to get up to 95, and my forecast was for 89, so when are we getting to the 80s? Well, very soon. That big front is on its way, and we'll be talking about it coming up in just a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. We did get a few light showers in Victoria this afternoon, well, actually late this afternoon and early evening, but all day long they had gotten big rain out in Houston. In fact, Brazoria County had some flooding with about 2 to 3, 4 inches of rain. And then we got one little one that came down to our area. Edna got some rain as well. Everything's okay, I think. But you can see how most of the activity has not completely gone away. And the computer models that I'm looking at is telling me that this activity, which basically starts in the Gulf and comes onshore early, that may be as early as 6 a.m. that we're going to see more showers now moving into our area. So yeah, I think it's going to be wet tomorrow. You remember where you left your umbrella. Think about it. Well, here is West Texas, where they had a severe thunderstorm event this afternoon and evening. A lot of it is weakening now that the sun's going down, but this is where the frontal system is. It is already past Amarillo, and it is going to be moving into our area. Oh, by the way, there's the little rain that came down Highway 59 right into the city. It was perfect. So again, you can see how in West Texas tonight, they still have the possibility for some severe weather. Tomorrow, this starts moving a little bit farther inland, so you can see a broader expanse of North Texas gets included. That would be Wednesday. Thursday, it starts pushing through the hill country, Austin and San Antonio. Before it gets to our area, they're going to get some big thunderstorms up there as well. So this is a major front. This is what they call a season-changing front. It has blown the dome of doom away, and it is allowing us to start getting some much-needed Pacific storms with rain around here. 89 is the forecast high for tomorrow, still in the 90s, but look at Amarillo's high temperatures, 74. That sounds pretty good. So where's the front? Here it is, Tuesday night, right there. And then by Wednesday, it rolls in. And of course, as it runs into all this Gulf air and moisture, it's going to destabilize and trigger quite a bit of shower activity. A cold front is kind of like a bulldozer. The cold air settles to the ground and sort of goes that way, and it lifts the warm and humid air, and that's why we get the rain activity in front of it, not so much behind it. So by Thursday midnight, after midnight, it rolls through here, and then the shower activity will be slowly decreasing on Friday. And then on Saturday, the secondary front comes through with cool, dry air that you're really going to like for the weekend. I'm telling you, you're really going to like the weekend forecast. For tomorrow, 80 in the morning in Port Lavaca, getting up to 87. We're looking for showers even in the morning and then more in the afternoon. For Cuero, we start off at 77, end up at 88, and most of that activity will be in the afternoon. At this time, this activity is not going to be severe. I mean, it'll be rain, it'll be heavy, there'll be some lightning, but it's not like that stuff out in West Texas because the front is still out there. So here's the forecast I'm telling you you're going to like. Showers increase tomorrow. Looks very wet to me on Thursday, 1 to 2 inches of rain. Friday morning, shower activity, and then it decreases by evening. Hopefully it'll clear before game time. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, cool, dry weather, low temperatures in the 60s, daytime highs, mid-70s. That sounds good. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Gino with sports.
Thank Mac. A local state champion and legend was found dead this morning. That's coming up after the break. At a crossroads, a former state champion from Stroman died in his home earlier this morning. The 1985 head baseball coach of the Raiders, Hody Garcia, was found in his home around 11 o'clock this morning. He led his team to the only state sports team championship in Stroman Raider history. Every high school team he coached made it to the playoffs, including the 1986 team, which made it to the state semifinals. Garcia was 74 years old. On to local volleyball. The St. Joseph Lady Flyers continue to dominate on the hardwood. The Lady Flyers swept its team, the Brownsville St. Joseph Bloodhounds, 25-23, 25-13, and 25-17. One of the veterans on the team, Addison Ozuna, had a big night and was named co-player of the game. And look at that thunderous spike. And Industrial Cobras welcome state-ranked Yoakum into town, the girls wearing pink during their warm-ups. Yoakum, though, would get their second consecutive win, sweeping the Lady Cobras. Industrial performed well, coming close in set 3, just not enough for the win. Olivia Foyt of Yoakum had 24 digs. Gianna Phillips, Samantha Adamek, and Destiny Rios each had 10 kills in the win. Down the road, the Edna Cowgirls took on the Hallettsville Lady Bremas and won all 3 sets as well. Shanti Guerra had 14 kills, Bella Pliotini had 32 assists, and Juliana Koch, Marley Holmes, and Carson Damborski each had a fantastic night, getting the district win. The Goliad Tigerettes came into tonight's game as the #1 team in the state and left that way as well. Goliad defeats Odom in 3 sets. The Tigerettes will play Mathis Friday for another district matchup. The Victoria West Lady Warriors improved to 3-1 in district after tonight's victory. The Lady Warriors dominated 25-11, 25-9, and 25-4. West Emily Parker had 11 kills on the night and 2.5 blocks. West will host CC Ray Texans October 6th at 5 o'clock. The Victoria East Lady Titans got the sweep tonight as well. They got swept tonight. They lose 3-0 to CC Ray. They lost 25-17, 25-23, and 25-20. These Lady Titans are 1-3 on the season in district. Multiple athletes had 4 kills, but Lily Rather led the team with 8 kills. East will host Gregory Portland Friday at 5 at East High School. And there are 5 area high schools in the state that are in the rankings, and it's a little different from last week. The Bobcats are coming off a 59-14 win over the Three Rivers Bulldogs to improve to 2-0 in district, which is tied for the lead with the Ganado Indians. Head coach Jason Herring and the Bobcats are taking on the Skidmore-Tynan Bobcats Friday night at Refugio. Another big cat in the rankings are the Tidehaven Tigers. The red, white, and blue has been dominant so far, only allowing 6 points the entire season. The Tigers defense recently named the Children of the Corn bent but did not break in the 15-7 victory over East Bernard for the first district win of the season. The Tigers are on bye next week. The Quail Gobblers are coming off its bye week and did not lose a step in the rankings. They stay at number 4 in the state. They'll host the Giddings Buffaloes Friday night for the first district game of the year in Gobbler Stadium. The Edna Cowboys did not skip a beat after last week's 35-0 victory over the London Pirates. They are now 1-0 in district, which is all that matters, and are hosting the Palacios Sharks on Friday. The El Campo Ricebirds are back in the top 10 rankings at number 9 since being ranked in the top 5 in the state to start the year. But another big test will come Friday in the game of the week when the El Campo Ricebirds travel to Bay City to take on the Black Cats in one of the oldest rivalries in the state. Lastly, the Yoakum Bulldogs are out of the rankings. They lost to Wego La Vega, putting them out of the top 10. And it's not going to get any easier for the Yoakum Bulldogs as they host number 4 ranked Hitchcock Friday night. That's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gina. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather with Mac. Plus, the creator of the movie Mean Girls is auctioning off the script of the musical.
Just to help reduce spam. Well, it's about time. It's adding new requirements for bulk senders who send more than 5,000 messages to Gmail addresses in a day. They'll have to authenticate their addresses, stay below a clear spam rate threshold, offer a one-click unsubscribe button in their emails, and process the unsubscribe request within 2 days. The changes go into effect in February. We need them now.
Well, today, October 3rd, is Mean Girls Day, established in 2004, the popular Lindsay Lohan movie. And this year, and that date, Mean Girls creator Tina Fey is auctioning off her script of Mean Girls, the musical version. It comes with her handwritten notes and sketches in the margins, sharing her thoughts and ideas from the creation of the original film and the musical. The auction for Fey's script runs until October 6th at theauctioncollective.com. That's so fetch. Do y'all know that one?
No, but did
It's
you
a
really?
Mean Girls reference.
You really liked that movie, didn't
It's
you?
a Mean Girls reference. Yeah. It's a good movie.
Did you identify with the film?
With the Mean Girls film, I think every young girl in some way, shape, or form does.
It's part
It's
of
a
growing
classic.
up.
It's
Part of growing up.
yeah,
right?
it's a classic.
Coming to age.
Yeah.
Coming to age movie for sure.
Are we getting mean weather this way?
After the summer we've been through, I think it's going to be delightful to see a little rain around here, folks. Yes, tomorrow morning there should be some showers already coming on shore. And then during the day, they'll only increase. I believe Thursday is going to have 1 to 2 inches of rain in it. Friday morning is the peak of the activity, and it should decrease by evening. However, it may be still a little damp for the football games. But the weekend, you're gonna write me a postcard and thank me and say, what a beautiful weekend.
We'll get your address. All right, Mag, thank you. And finally tonight, the head of the Star Wars droid C-3PO will be for sale in a huge movie memorabilia auction. It's expected to sell for up to $1.2 million.
Wow.
The head is one of more than 1,800 pieces of movie and TV memorabilia in the auction held by Prop Store. Other items up for sale include C-3PO's hands and feet, hand-annotated scripts, and an unopened cereal box used as a prop. The auction, which also includes costumes and props from other movies, expected to garner more than $14.6 million in total.
Yikes.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Dawn, and thank you, Mac, and thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
May the force be with you. Join Carolina Ostrain, meteorologist Parker Cox, 25 News Now at sunrise, starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.